Hey everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Glad to have you all here today. I'm Bobby Hiller with MetaStock. I'm going to be going through a few different things with you today. I've actually kind of mixed up today's webinar, so I'm covering a few of my different favorite topics and kind of trying to put them all into one session for you here. So today's session is going to be a little bit longer than normal, but I think you're really going to like it. I'm going to share a lot of information with you guys today. Before I get too far into things, I do have to quickly go through our legal disclaimer here. So this demonstration, it's designed to instruct you on using MetaStock and the accompanying software plugins, and is not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using the specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading, and MetaStock shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of their software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with the company. So now that we've got that out of the way, I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit about, what is MetaStock for those of you that might be joining us on YouTube or in GoToWebinar and you haven't heard of MetaStock before. So we were founded way back in 1982. And a lot of people, they didn't even have computers back then. A lot of people didn't even know what a computer was. And there we were, with your floppy drive that you would have to use in order to use our technical analysis software. We were purchased by Reuters back in 1995, and we released Quote Center with a real-time data feed based on Reuters technology for MetaStock in 2005. And then we released our MetaStock Zenith product in 2012, and we've sold well over 300,000 copies of MetaStock, and we actually back in 2013 divested from Thomson Reuters, or Reuters, Refinitiv. They've gone by many names now. They're owned by LSEG, but we divested from them back in 2013. We're at the core still the same company, still the same team here, but since then we've been able to make a lot of advancements in the software and make a lot of progress here. Sorry, we might be having some technical issues, it looks like, with YouTube, but I'm going to keep going, I think, is the move. I haven't heard from anyone in our other room, so apologies, guys, if you're having any connection issues or anything like that. But I'll keep going for now, and if we have to kind of go back in and touch on some points for anyone that might have missed out on something, we can definitely do that. Also, I guess while I'm saying that, if you guys do have questions throughout today's presentation, please feel free to reach out. And you can ask either in GoToWebinar or on YouTube. There's a couple people monitoring. We have been having a couple of technical issues today, though, so I apologize about that. We had some issues with the start time not generating properly in GoToWebinar, and it looks like we might be having some connection issues in YouTube right now. So definitely sorry about that, guys, but it looks like GoToWebinar might still be working correctly, so I'm going to keep moving along for now. And like I said, yeah, we can touch back in on anything if we have to. So in regards to MetaStock again, so we have won the best analysis software in our price category for 29 straight years in a row now, according to Technical Analysis of Stocks and Commodities magazine. So their readers have chosen our software as the best performing and the best analysis software that they've used for, over 29 straight years. So that's just to tell you, we're not just another company that just started up trying to, copy some older systems. We really are kind of pioneers a lot of technical analysis software, and we've had a lot of experience with working with a lot of customers to bring you the services that you want and that can help you with your trading analysis. So kind of to touch in a little more in depth on today's agenda, I know that I had said I'm going to try to touch on several different topics, but we're going to go over like the importance of a trading plan and understanding a trading plan using the MACD or MACD. We're going to test some trading ideas. We're going to scan and see how you can look for trades, like look for something that has a buy or a sell signal today. then after we've kind of gone through the basics of a lot of our main tools, we're going to get a little bit more advanced, and I'll show you guys one of my favorite trading strategies in MetaStock from one of our partners, where we recently released their system onto MetaStock. And I think you'll be really impressed by some of the features I'm able to show you there. I also want to tell you guys about some of the new features that we have in MetaStock. I know a lot of our watchers, a lot of people that subscribe to these videos, you're already users of MetaStock. But even if you're not, this is going to be exciting for you either way. I'm just going to show you guys some of the new features that are currently available that came out like in our latest release. And then also, we'll have some special offers available at the end. So if anyone's looking for a good deal to try out MetaStock, to get a trial or a discount on any of our services, I'll be able to help you guys out with that later on as well. Now, to kind of jump back into things, so here is a quick quote from Richard Dennis. He says, "I always say you could publish rules in a newspaper and no one would follow them. And the key is consistency and discipline." Now, if you're not familiar with Richard Dennis, he's a famous professional trader from back in the 80s, and he actually took a loan, I believe it was of $1,200 or $1,600, and he was able to trade that up into an estimated about $350 million over the course of just about 5 years. And he says that he could post that exact trading strategy, step by step, saying exactly how he did it, into the newspaper for free, and still no one would follow it properly and have that same success, because they wouldn't use the consistency and discipline needed to follow it exactly in order to have the same level of success. So a nice thing about MetaStock is we can help provide these tools for you and give you, once you find a trading strategy within our software, you can use our software to ensure that you're using consistency in your trades. And if you follow the rules and the signals and the things that come out of it, if you're disciplined to do that, you can have a lot of success with it. So I like to keep that quote on there and just talk about that with you guys. All right, so to get started, I want to kind of just talk to you guys about a trading strategy. We have the MACD here is what I just pulled up. And don't worry, we won't be in PowerPoints all day today. I just kind of want to go through some of the basics of this with you guys so that you have a general understanding of it, and then show it to you in MetaStock once we've done that. So the MACD, or moving average convergence divergence, is what that stands for. Oh, it looks like we're back on YouTube. Hey everyone, sorry about any technical issues we were having there. We haven't gone through too much in detail. I'm actually just talking about now a basic trading strategy. So feel free to jump in now. Yeah, so we're talking about the MACD here. And what that is, again, it's the moving average convergence divergence. And in order to calculate this, you would subtract the value of a 0.075 exponential moving average from a 0.15 exponential moving average, moving average. And these do not line up with whole numbers generally, but the most common moving averages used are the 26 exponential moving average and the 12 exponential moving average. So if you use those two, that's what you can see is plotted right here. And then you also add in a signal line, and a signal line is a 9-day exponential moving average, and when it's applied to the MACD, that's when you call it your signal line, and you can see this blue dotted line here. And when it crosses through the MACD, that's giving a signal. When it crosses above, it's generating like a buy signal, or it's saying, hey, according to these moving averages and the convergence and divergence happening here, you're getting a buy signal here. And when it crosses below, that's a sell. I think I have these in my slides, so let's not get too ahead of myself here. And then the MACD histogram, so that's what I have shown up here, and that's this blue line here with the bars that go up and down. This was popularized by Linda Rosch, and the MACD histogram is the MACD value subtracted from the signal line. So basically what that means is if you take the red line and the blue line, the difference in between them is what's giving you the histogram line. So it's just a way to help you see the depth a little bit more from how different they are from one another, and it also helps you to kind of like see how fast they're splitting. You can see that along this histogram right here. So that's why the MACD histogram, you'll see that in MetaStock now. We actually have that included in our version 18 of MetaStock, which is something we'll cover later on. This is just an included indicator. So it gives you the MACD, you have your signal line, and then you can also see the histogram helps you to see the difference in between the lines, see how much they vary. Now, there's a lot of different ways to use a MACD on your charts or in your trading, and I'm going to cover some of just the most popular and most basic ones, but there's other things that you can do with it as well. But one of the most common ways that it's utilized, and a lot of people keep this on their chart just for this very reason, is trend identification, to help you know when something's bullish and when something's bearish by identifying those the crossovers that I was telling you about. And you can also use it to see overbought and oversold readings and conditions as well, depending on where it's at, the levels that it's at. And we're going to review that as well. And just to kind of go into that a little bit more in depth, just to kind of keep at the basics here so everyone's able to easily follow along, I want to talk about a trend. Now, what is a trend? The general direction of a market or of the price of an asset. So trends can vary in length from short to intermediate to long term. If you can identify a trend, it can be highly profitable because you will be able to trade with the trend. And that's something really big. If the trend of the overall market is going up, you know, it's generally not a good idea to take as many short trades during that time, or to be looking for a short trade if the overall trend of the markets itself is going up. But also you can take that down a level too, and it doesn't just have to be the market overall, but you can also just say for a specific security or whatever it may be that you're trading. What is its overall trend? And you can look at all these things too. What's its long-term trend, its mid-term trend, its short-term trend. You can take all these different things into consideration, but the biggest rule of thumb here is you always want to be trading with the trend. That's huge. If the markets are going down, really it's maybe not the best idea to be looking for buy signals at that time. You know, if you're someone that likes to short the market, then that's something you would more likely consider during that timing. Let's see here. A trend can also be applied to things like interest rates, yields, and equities, and any other market which is characterized by a long-term movement in price or volume. It doesn't have to just be, you know, the trend in a stock or something of that nature. So there's several different ways of looking at it as well. So again, kind of to touch on what I said earlier, the trend identification, if the MACD is above its signal line, then the histogram will be above 0, and this is bullish. So here's the histogram when it's at 0 is just that straight line. And so when you see that the histogram has gone above right here, so that's telling you, okay, the MACD has crossed. I'm pointing at my screen here. Let me make sure I'm using my mouse. When you can see that the signal line has crossed above, or sorry, when the MACD has crossed above the signal line, that's going to help identify a bullish trend, which you can see down here, and you will have the histogram will be above 0, so this will be up here. And so that just kind of helps you to see it there in several different ways. You can see it on the trend ribbon, you can see it on the histogram, you can see it by looking at the MACD crossing the signal line as well. Now, likewise, this is in the reverse as well. If the MACD is below its signal line, so MACD below the histogram, or sorry, the signal line, the histogram will be 0 or below 0, and this is bearish. So when you see that it moves downward here into the negative, that's going to be a bearish signal, which is also representative by the cross down. So several different ways where you can kind of see and identify that. And now just coming into this further, what you're actually seeing here is an example of our expert advisor. So this is making it even easier for you to see or understand the MACD. If you were to apply our expert advisor, which we will do here in a little bit, you're going to see that it actually puts the signals onto your chart as well. So you're seeing right here, you get a MACD buy signal right when it crosses over, the same time that this has gone up, because these are all kind of telling you the same thing, just in a different way. And it's good to understand that many indicators can work like that as well. So you have bullish, it switches to bullish in the ribbon. You're actually getting a buy signal generated onto the chart. That's a MetaStock feature using our expert advisor. So if you didn't want to have this trend ribbon on your chart, or if you didn't want to actually plot the histogram onto your chart, because you can see it does kind of take up a lot of space up here. Maybe you just want to look at the price chart with less clutter on it. You just want a couple of moving averages on there, which that's what this red line is. It's a moving average. And then same with the blue down here on the actual pricing chart, just so that you're aware of that. Yeah, there's several ways to do it. And one is just to put on our expert advisor. So get those buy and sell signals. So yes, buy when it's bullish. Another good way, or another thing that you can utilize with the MACD, is to see overbought and oversold readings. So the MACD, the MACD, will show overbought and oversold regions when it moves too far too fast. And the way that it does that, you can actually see the ratings on the histogram here. And some people will consider it at different levels, but once the line has gone far above the zero up into these ranges, this is signaling for that it's overbought and it could be reversing. So that's why you are seeing the red show up here. If you were to have the actual expert advisor attached, then that's how it would show up on your charts here. But you can also see, just by seeing that it's gone above certain levels here. So that's another way that it's really highly utilized. And it is advisable, though, to wait for confirmation, as prices can continue to trend for quite some time. So even though it was showing here, we didn't actually have like a sell signal that was generated when this was showing overbought. It was just kind of warning you that it could be becoming it soon, and you had it happen again. And then we would have actually wanted to wait until it signals down, though, and gives us the actual sell signal, which didn't come until here. And then that's likely when you would have taken the trade. But sometimes if you're just looking at it to use with other indicators, I mean, maybe you'll only care about looking at the overbought and oversold readings in some situations. Oops. Yeah, and so that's kind of the basics of the MACD. Now, just to get, so that we're not, like I said, in the PowerPoint presentation the entire time, I want to go ahead and take you guys into MetaStock and kind of show this to you, how it flows in the software itself. And then on top of that, show you some of the really unique tools within MetaStock that once you have a trading system, and again, that was just to show you a basic example of a trading system. Actually, we can even just go onto this chart here. Let me clean up this template. So this is just a chart of Ford that I already had opened, and I just applied a clean template so that it's empty here. And I do kind of want to just plot and apply some of these to show this to you guys. So if I put that MACD, which I just grabbed from our indicator list and dropped onto the chart, it tells me like the signal time periods in case I wanted to change this in any sort of way, but I'm just going to leave it as is and put it on there. So now I have the MACD histogram applied to my chart, and like before, I can see everything on here. So I can see the crossovers, I can see the histogram, everything we just kind of talked about. So that's how easy it is to plot that onto your charts in MetaStock and to be able to see that. But then again, kind of as I mentioned before, we can take this a level farther. Instead of just having the indicator on there and looking down at it and what it does, I can go into my expert advisor here, and I can find the MACD by MetaStock, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that. And now that I've done that, that puts this trend ribbon onto there, so I can just very easily at a glance see when I'm bullish and bearish without having to come down and look at the histogram itself, the MACD histogram itself. I get those actual buy and sell signals showing up on here as well, and I can get information into overbought and oversold by just seeing these red and green systems here. And now maybe you're saying, hey, Bobby, you're talking way too fast. Like, sure, I understand maybe the MACD is common to you, but that's a lot of information for me to remember, or something of that nature. Or how am I going to know what this means on any of the other hundreds of indicators that you have inside of MetaStock? Well, not only does our expert advisor simplify things by giving you the option to see like buy and sell signals on the chart like that, but you can also come in here and turn on commentary as well. So I just right-clicked and I went into the expert advisor and I attached the commentary by clicking on it right there. And now what I've done is, oh, you can see this little green arrow here signifies what day I have this on. And I actually have commentary on this system from the expert advisor that I have attached. And what this is telling me is, well, there's quite a bit of information here. And depending on the different trading system that you're using, you're going to obviously have different information in here. But this alone tells you, okay, this is the MACD by MetaStock. It's giving me current statistics of the pricing and where it's all at. And then it actually gives quite a bit of information here. This is also saying you can use it to buy and sell in with the signal line crossovers and the overbought and oversold conditions, and also divergences. Actually, that's a very common way to utilize it as well. So it also tells me currently the MACD is bearish since it's trading below its signal line. So it's giving me information about the trading system right on the screen and telling me exactly what's going on where I'm at. The MACD crossed below its signal line 27 periods ago. I'm on a daily chart, by the way. You can see that because this D right here means I'm on a daily interval. And if I wanted to go in and change that in here, I could do that. And then it would update accordingly in here. Oops, sorry, I just clicked somewhere else. So let's go back into here. It's telling me since the MACD crossed its moving average, the price has decreased by 23.77%. So ever since you got this sell signal, the price has gone down by 23.77%. So, you know, if you utilize the MACD to trade this, that would have been a really good trade right there. And now something kind of unique is happening. I can see we're still in a bearish zone. However, I have these green bars here. That might be a little bit hard to see for some of you too. So I'm actually going to change this over to candlesticks. Oops. There we go. I'm going to change that to candlesticks just so it shows up a little bit larger on your screen here. And I reset the defaults back to just the regular defaults as well. Oh, actually, I realized by doing that, I did make some slight changes to my expert advisor, but you saw earlier that this was showing oversold with the green on there. This is different because I just changed my candlesticks, but this still applies. I can still see the information from here, and the commentary is still telling me, hey, now the MACD is in an oversold range, and it's saying oversold in green because when something's oversold, too many people are selling it. That's kind of an indication that, hey, this is likely about to reverse into the other direction. You can see how far down this has gone here. So it's quite oversold at this point, but it may continue to move lower for some time. So wait for prices to move higher before considering any long positions. So this gave me all sorts of information that I needed here, utilizing this trading system. And it's really, you know, a lot more than just looking at this if you're not like an absolute expert on it and know every single value and what trading things to consider when looking at it. So this commentary can be extremely helpful, not only with basic trading systems like the MACD, but also with more advanced systems, which I'll show you a little bit which I'll show you some of those later on. Oops. So let me go ahead and actually undock that. Didn't want to do that. And then just another example I wanted to show you. If I go over here, and I'm going to actually click on this day where I got a signal, just to kind of give you an example of this. So here it's telling me that, hey, this crossed its signal line 0 periods ago, so today. So that's why you're getting the signal generated today. And so, yeah, if you follow along with the commentary every day, you can get updated information from it, and it's going to keep updating you and providing you with different information when you utilize it that way. So that is a very unique thing to MetaStock with the expert advisor that's actually going to show not only the buy and sell signals on your chart to help you better learn and utilize your trading systems, but it's also going to give you commentary on them and show you how they all work. It's one of my favorite features in MetaStock, but that's not all that MetaStock does to improve on a trading system like the MACD. What if you're like, okay, hey, I really like all of that, but all right, what do you want me to go through, you know, thousands of charts every single day and apply this expert advisor to look for what's giving me a buy or sell signal today. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to open up hundreds or thousands of charts and scroll through every single one. We actually have features built into MetaStock to help you with that too. And that's what I'll demonstrate next for you guys with our Explorer. So in here, I just opened up our power console that has all of our main power tools listed right here. And I went into the Explore tab. And this is like our scanner basically. So the Explorer has the ability to scan for any sort of different criteria and then give you a list of results to help you, more easily go through your trading analysis and to give you like a list of securities that are ready for you to take action on right away. So what I'm gonna do is come into here and I wanna use the MACD. So I'm gonna type that into our search feature. These new search abilities have been updated in version 18, as some of you might be noticing, that makes them a little bit easier. There's actually a couple of things I have here. If I scroll over these, they tell me what they do. So this one right here displays securities that just generated an MACD buy signal. So if that's all I care about, I could just click on this, and now what I would do is come down here and we have a list of data. So we have over 320,000 different securities available with MetaStock if you have all of our data, or if you're on a real-time account. This is the demo computer, so it has MetaStock real-time, which all of those accounts include global market data. And what I'm gonna do is just come into this instrument list here. Let's see, and let's say I'm trading within North America. So I'm going to go ahead and open up North America. And what if I just want to scan or just want to trade things on the NASDAQ? So I could select the NASDAQ, which has 5,257 securities. I can open it up to see all of them in there and just select the ones that I want, or I could click it to select all of them. Just for demo purposes, I'm going to do a smaller list. Let's go at the NYSE, or formerly the Amex, American Exchange. And that one just has 870. So yeah, I want to see what has a buy signal today on the Amex. We're going to look at a daily chart or a daily time frame, just because that's easy. That's what we've been doing for demo purposes. And I'm going to load 1,250 records of data, which is about 5 years worth of data if you're just looking at trading days. And sometimes this can be really important depending on the type of scan you're looking for, because different like moving averages can, the data that you get from them can be different depending on how many records you load. Because if you're only looking at the past 100 records versus the past 1,000, you might have a different short-term type of trend, or that affects your moving averages and things like that. So it can make different systems generate different things. With this being a pretty simple one, I mean, with 5 years, that's going to be more than enough data. It only really has to utilize, like the 26 period exponential moving average. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and click Start Exploration on this, because this should be really fast, and I just want to show you guys a quick example of this one. Actually being on the demo computer, and because I'm broadcasting, it takes a second to get started. But as soon as it gets started, now it's screaming through all of these instruments here. So instead of me going through these 870 different charts and applying the MACD, either expert advisor, or we also have a template and other things of that nature, this is scanning all of them for me, and you're seeing it's actually rejecting about 99.5%. So it's rejecting quite a high percentage of them and telling me, hey, this does not have a buy signal right now, because that's all I'm searching for is that MACD buy signal. And this is going to give me a list of results that do actually have buy signals today, because maybe I'm interested in something today, or maybe you have a custom list saved and you're waiting for a buy signal to generate on this custom list that you have saved, and you just want to run a scan across those 500 securities a day or something of that nature. That's an option too. Or I have like a custom list with everything that I'm currently active in trading, and I'll run different scans on that list every time I'm utilizing MetaStock or doing my analysis. So that's a method or a way that it's used as well. So now what you'll see, I have a list of my results. So of those 870 securities, only 9 of them are giving me a buy signal today. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that I want to take all or I want to buy all 9 of these securities. You know, there's other forms of analysis you might want to do, but this is at least letting me know, hey, these, according to MACD, are currently generating a buy signal, and it can save me a lot of time. And now what I could do from here is I could take this list of securities, and I could, you know, maybe I save the list to my clipboard, and then I put it into like our MetaStock Zenith, and then I do some fundamental analysis inside of there. Or maybe I just want to save the list and use it in our quote center somewhere else, or maybe I want to go open it up in options quote. There's all sorts of different things you can do with it here, but you can also simply double click on one of these securities and it's going to open up a chart of that security. I actually have all my charts currently set up to just open as a clean template like this, but actually for this demonstration purpose, say you know that, hey, you're utilizing the MACD buy system, so I'm going to go ahead and come in here and scroll down past these. And this is our demo computer, so we have a lot of different things listed on here. And say I want to open them all up with the MACD histogram. Yep, and I'm going to do the same 1250 records because that's the amount of records I loaded in my exploration. So now if I actually go back to that report that I just ran, oops, let's filter by this. Okay, this is the report I just ran up. I'm opening it up on another screen. All right, so now if I actually went into here and I opened up one of these securities, okay, this is actually a template that I applied. Maybe I actually, I could have done an expert advisor, but so now I have it set to open this up with our MACD histogram template, and I can open up all of these different things, and they're going to show me that today, all of these, sorry, I'm not sure if you're noticing this because I'm clicking so fast. Let me actually close these down. So all these charts that I just opened up from that exploration list, because I had applied, and again, this is a template that utilizes the MACD. Earlier, I showed you guys an example of the expert advisor. That's why they look just a little bit different, but you can save, like create your own custom template maybe that has the MACD plus your other trading indicators that you like to utilize and everything of that nature, and apply it into your own template that you open up all your charts with. But as an example, you can see here, this has a buy signal today. And that's what I was looking for. I wanted to find a security that has a buy signal today. And now I can kind of look at this and say like, hey, is this something I want to trade? Does this look like something that would interest me? And I can see here, you know, it looks like it's actually been back and forth quite a bit over the last few days, and it hasn't really identified a strong trend in one direction or the other recently, which that's one of the first things we were talking about, you know, how important trend is. So honestly, this is probably not something I would want to trade, but hey, at least I knew that it was like an option today. So then I can just click the next arrow and go open up my next chart. Maybe you opened up the list of all the results that you had. Oh, and I actually have this loading or showing quite a bit more data. So I'm going to zoom in here though. Or actually I could just, oops, I'm clicking too many buttons. Grab the scroll bar and kind of zoom in, you'll see I had another buy signal that was generated today as well, but currently today you can see on this, the price is down. So maybe not something I would want to take today because today's trend, even though it generated a buy signal, it shows that it opened at 0.138 and it's currently at 0.128. So maybe I wouldn't want to trade that. Maybe I'd want confirmation that it's going to continue to go upwards first. So yeah, there's another really good example though of how I was able to just scan the market and look into this. And I think a big thing we're going to see, because overall, you know, the markets have been quite a bit down lately, so it's harder to find these bullish signals or to find, you know, buy signals right now. So a lot of these that are generating have kind of been back and forth because the overall markets haven't been trending extremely upward over the last little bit of time here. So maybe actually in this scenario, a better example of what I should have done, and let me actually go ahead and just close out these charts. I'm gonna just close all of them. Do not want to save. Maybe it would have been smarter to look for like a sell signal or something. And I actually wanted to just show one other example actually, let's go back in here. So this did show that this will show our close price, that exploration I ran earlier. That's what I just opened back up. It's showing the close. It's showing what the MACD is at, what it was at previously. It's showing also moving average information here and what percent above or below it is from that. But also there's the MACD expert system. This one's a little bit different. So this will show buy and sell signals, plus a little bit of additional information. Let's go ahead and run this scan as well, just to kind of show you guys the difference between these two, and just to, so you're aware of some of the different types of results you can get in an exploration. I'm going to do this later on today too, when I go into one of the more advanced systems that I want to show you guys, and just some of the really cool things that can be added into like your own custom explorations, or that you might be able to see in an exploration from some of our partners, what they've created, because this is just showing you a lot of the basics. Another thing like you can do too, you don't necessarily have to scan for like a buy or a sell signal. Another really popular type of thing to scan for is you can just look for like, run like a performance type of scan to tell you like, hey, what is, like what percentage crease have these stocks been seeing, or you know, what, you can see all sorts of different variables. Any sort of mathematical variable, I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here, can be listed, and you can run a scan to like search for those things. So now what this one did, instead of just giving me 7 results that I can look at, I actually ended up getting 193 results from that same exact list. So it rejected significantly less. And there's still actually not a lot of sell signals. There's actually more buy signals than sell signals. So I think that's kind of showing you the market's undecided with that right now. But it's also giving other information here as well for you. So yeah, that's another way though I could have ran the scan, because maybe I just want to look for something to short right now. So if I open up this security here, it's going to show, oops, let's cancel that and make it full size. And, oh, it's raining pretty hard outside right now. I don't know if you guys can hear that coming through the mic, but the window's being pelted here. So apologies if that's interrupting the audio at all for you guys, but we're gonna go ahead and just carry on through it. But yeah, as I was showing, you can also use the exploration for like sell signals and other things of that nature as well. You just wanna make sure that everything you're scanning for, all the data matches up in here, and then you'll also be able, from the exploration, and then it's also going to show you on your chart as well. So that's how you can look. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to come back into this yet. Let's open MetaStock back up. All right, but now this has actually generated another question that a lot of you might have. Well, okay, so we ran those scans, and we are seeing, hey, you know, a lot of those securities that showed up on those charts that are showing up today, they didn't seem like they've been performing amazingly on the MACD in at least the recent times. So maybe now this new question that you have is, okay, hey, I like the MACD, but I only want to trade it on securities that I know that it performs really well on. And even if my list of results is, you know, smaller than those 7 results that we had, I don't want to have to go into every single one of those and look at all of them if they haven't been performing well on the MACD. So this is where another one of MetaStock's power tools comes into play that can help you out with things like this. And again, we're using just the MACD because it's a common kind of easy to use indicator or trading system. But all of this goes into any other trading system you can think of as well that might be in the MetaStock, where you can create your own custom ones in here. Or we are partnered with many professional traders or institutions or companies that have a lot of experience, and you can get their trading systems with MetaStock as well, and they've created scans and system tests for them. So that's just something to keep in mind. But to not get too far off course, let's go ahead and check out the system tester, show you what it does, and show it how it can also help you to better utilize different trading systems, or help you find what trading system you might want to use. Or again, in the reverse, what we're kind of testing right now is if I have the MACD and we are going to utilize just the MACD expert system here, that's the one we've been working with the most. There are ways of optimizing it that you can do with the system tester, or we have because the MACD is pretty common. We have a couple other variations of it, like the MACD histograms that come with our performance systems, or the Teach Talk Trade MACD oscillator. But we're just going to keep at the MACD expert system. That's the one we've been talking about. I'm going to actually scroll over it here so that you guys can read this. It says this system backtests for buys and sells when the MACD goes above or below its trigger line, which is the 9-period exponential moving average of the MACD. It will also use an oversold or overbought condition for the entry or exit if the crossover doesn't exist. So it is testing on those multiple different things. The system's formulas match those used in the MACD by MetaStock Expert Advisor. So that's the Expert Advisor I had attached previously before I had the black template pop up. And then this gives a note that I kind of touched on earlier too, that hey, exponential indicators are sensitive to the amount of data loaded, because if it's working on, that moving average could be different depending on how much data you've loaded into the system. So they can vary to a degree depending on how much data you loaded, but you can always just load, enough data to make sure it's working properly, and then just make sure that if you're running a system test or an exploration with a certain amount of data, then when you're looking at your charts and things of that nature, use that same amount of data so that everything's matching up. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and do the system test real quick and show you guys how it works. So I have my system selected up here, very similar to how the Explorer works. And also you can select several at a time too. Another kind of reverse method of using the system tester, instead of just selecting the MACD like I have here, sometimes people choose 10, 20, 30, or all the system tests and run it against securities to see which system test performs best on the securities they want to trade. So that's like a reverse way of doing it. But for now, we're going to say, hey, we like and understand the MACD. It works really well with our Expert Advisor. That's the system we want to use, but we want to make sure we're only using it on securities it performs well with. So utilizing that example, we're going to take the MACD from above, and now we're going to come down to our public online data list again. And let's just do this one a little bit differently. I'm going to go into the index constituents down here. Or actually, let's maybe keep it exactly the same now that I say that. I'm going to go back into the equities, North America. Normally, I like to run these on like the S&P 500 or something of that nature, but just because we've been using this list, it's actually a slightly longer list than the S&P 500, obviously, because it has 870 securities. But just to kind of keep things the same, we'll do it this way. Now, use last 500 records. No, we've been doing more than that and everything today. We've been doing the 1250, which is about the 5 years. So let's do that. I can also say, hey, I actually only want to test this on long trades because I only take long trades. I don't short. Personally, that's actually something that I do. So I often will just look at my systems based on their long trades. But I'm going to go ahead and apply both. So whether this means you're taking both longs and shorts, or maybe sometimes with options, you have puts and calls. So sometimes I'll short if I'm utilizing options. But anyways, we're going to do both long and short trades for 5 years of data here. And we're going to be on the daily time frame just to keep things consistent. But again, you can use any time frame you want. So if you like to utilize intraday time frames, you're a day trader, something of that nature, you can do that with MetaStock real time. Or maybe you prefer to look at like weekly or monthly charts. You're more of an investor or long-term swing type trader. That's an option as well. But for now, again, we're going to keep it on the daily. Now, there's a lot of things I can do in here to change things on my reports and different things that show up. But some of the big things to look at here is we can go into the account, and this is where I'm putting in my initial equity. So this says I'm starting with a trading account of $100,000. Maybe though you only have $10,000 or $1,000. Make this whatever it is that you want it. If you're trading Forex, then we normally recommend use points only. So there's an option for doing that as well. You can also come in here and choose whether you want to, every trade is you take 50 units, 50 stocks in every trade or something like that, or the transaction cost if I always want to do $1,000 in all of my trades. So you have those options, but we're just going to do a percent of available equity, and we'll say, hey, we are willing to trade 50% at a time. that's what that's saying, just for demonstration purposes to kind of show this to you guys. If you have, if you have margins or, have to pay commissions or something like that on your trades, you can come in here and customize this so that it matches your trading as well. So this can be created custom to you, your account size, your risk levels that you want in there. If you have to pay commissions on your entries and exits, you can type that into here so that the report that's generated is actually unique and resulting in what it would be for you, not just, a generalized person or something of that nature. The next tab I want to show you guys is trade execution. So I've gone into that here, and what I have selected is realistic market prices. And basically what that means is, hey, if I have a signal that generates, I'm looking at a daily chart and I get a buy signal that generates, that signal, it's saying to buy at the end of the day, but the market's already closed. So this is just going to get me in at the open of the next day if I have realistic market prices checked here. But I can also change it and create my own. Like maybe I always buy around the close. Maybe you wait until the end of the day. You have like MetaStock real time, so a few minutes before the markets close, you're looking at what signals are generated if that's the closing price, and you buy at the end of the day, so you can put buy prices at the close and sell at the close, or whatever it may be. You can change these things here. Some add-ons recommend you do it certain ways, or trading systems, etc. But for this, we'll go ahead and keep it at realistic market prices. Also, if we are doing an optimized system test, which can take several of the different buy or sell parameters and test different ones to see which ones perform best with the system that you're using, you can choose how many of those you keep. Like, hey, I want to see the 5 best optimized, etc. That's what that option is there. We're not going to touch on that with this scan. We're just going to, because this isn't an optimized scan, this is just using the MACD exactly like it said in the system tester. And I'm going to go ahead and click start system test for that. Now, this is doing quite a bit more analysis on more data because we still have the 1,250 records. So this is looking at 5 years of trading history if we utilize the MACD on all 870 of these securities. And again, because I'm in the presentation room, when I do this and we're broadcasting and everything, it takes a little bit of time before it kicks on. But once it kicks on, this test will actually go through really, really fast. It can do hundreds or thousands very quickly. So as soon as that kicks on, which I can actually, sorry, here's something over here. So that's going to start going through pretty fast. And as soon as that's done, it's going to pop up a list of results, and then I'm going to go ahead and do a demonstration inside of the system tester to show you all the different fields that you can look at in there. It's actually pretty unique. Not only is it going to tell us exactly how much we would have made trading the MACD on all these securities or lost, it's going to tell us the amount of wins versus losses. So, and that's something to keep in mind too. You can even have a trading system that is wrong more than 50% of the time, but if its winners are significantly higher than its losers, if its losers only lose a little bit, but its winners, are like hitting the lottery, that can still be a really good trading system, but that's kind of hard to identify immediately right away. But the system test will give us all the data on that one way or another. So we can actually then sort them by seeing what's the most profitable. Maybe that's all you care about. Or maybe you only care about percentage-wise increases. Or maybe you only care about how many trades are won versus lost versus how big or small the losers are. You might have reasons for doing certain things. You might like to combine this with some of your own trading strategies that you already have and utilize. So there's so many different ways to utilize MetaStock that, really there's no one correct way of doing anything, I would say. But it does have the ability to meet the needs of almost all traders, because of how much information it has and because of all the different ways you can utilize this data. I'm just showing you guys some of the more common ways, some of the ways that I like to use it, or that I know several other people in the office or some of our partners that I work with, how they utilize it. So these are all just examples. So everyone keep that in mind too. And if, again too, I guess if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer those. I actually haven't been checking too much. Let me see if anything's come in here. I see everyone saying hello earlier. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. Again, apologies about any time issues and technical issues that we had here at the start, but it looks like everything is moving along smoothly now. Okay. Yeah, it looks like nothing, no questions that I have to answer for everyone right now. I can get back to some of you later directly. All right, so here's the results that we have. We can see there's something in here had some pretty wild results that kind of skewed a lot of the rest of our data. But what I'm doing is I'm sorting this by the net profit. So one thing we can see right off the bat is that there's way more green here than there is red. And so that means generally the MACD performs positively on that formerly Amex exchange that's now owned by the New York Stock Exchange. There's more winners than there are losers on all of these securities, at least. Oftentimes when you see something like that, it's just one security, you know, that's kind of an outlier. This security had a 3,000% gain if you traded it with the MACD over the last 5 years, which is pretty wild. Let's take a look at that real quick. I like to look at this equity curve. It looks like it was even up over time. So I'm guessing this security, actually, if we go into this summary just to check it out. So the performance on this was the 3,000%. And something else to note here, the buy or the annualized performance was 332%. Now, if you were to have just bought and hold this, if you were to buy and hold instead of using the MACD as the trading system on it, which that's a really interesting thing to look at, it does look like it was up over 1,000%, but still the MACD performed 3 times better than the buy and hold. So that's a really big thing to keep in consideration, but I'm guessing there was some wild movement with this security for it to have so much variation like that. Oops, I actually didn't mean to close that. Let's open it back up. So here's this, just so that we can view this a little bit better without being distracted by this. I'm going to delete this off of here. And the only reason I'm doing that is to give us a little better picture of how some of these others performed. The same thing with this one. This one had just like an extremely high gain, 856%, which that means, hey, maybe these are the ones that you want to check out. If I actually look here, the buy and hold performance on this is down 37% if we would have just bought this and held it for 5 years. But if you traded it using the MACD, the performance on this would have been 856% over the last 5 years. That's what this is telling us. So those are some amazing numbers. Also, some of that other information I was telling you guys about. So let's look here. So profitable trades. There were 135 profitable trades. 96 of them were long, 39 of them were short. The average profit was $29,000 on our $100,000 account size, trading up to 50% at a time. The highest profit was over $804,000, so pretty considerable here. There were, though, this is one of those systems, though, the unprofitable trades. So the total, there were 168 unprofitable trades. So 135 profitable and 168 unprofitable. Some people might be like, hey, that's a terrible trading system because it actually lost more than it won. Well, if you're only looking at it in that way, okay, you can. But if you're actually looking at the average loss and the average profit, and then what that created, obviously the annualized performance or the performance overall is what really matters. But the average winner here was almost 30,000, and the average loss here was about 18,000. So that's saying that, you know, you win almost twice as much as you lose when you win. And that's a pretty big factor. Plus, something else to keep in mind is you don't take every single trade with every trading strategy. You know, if you're also using other indicators and you're confirming the overall market trend along with this system, you probably wouldn't have taken a lot of these unprofitable trades. But that's just one way to look at it, and something I wanted to mention. I keep exiting out of that entirely. Let's open this up one more time. All right, so I can also just see on this list here without actually opening it up, I can see the trades that were profitable and how many lost. So 135 to the 168 is the one we were just looking at there. And maybe this is something you care a little bit more about, so you can even do some filtering on here, but normally I'll just go by, the percent gain or the net profit is how I like to look at it. This is saying, hey, this trading system is right more often than it works on securities more often than it doesn't, because these are the securities and how much they all performed. It's not like the trades on them. We actually have to click into the symbols themselves in order to look at the deeper report. But I can also determine like, okay, how many trades did this take? Maybe, there could be something like this one here. It had, or these here, like they only took a couple of trades over 5 years. Maybe you want to be more active than that. You don't want to consider any of these that only took a few trades. And obviously these might not have had enough data, or their symbols might have changed at some point. So there were errors on those for whatever reasons, which is totally normal and fine. That's good information to still have. But also if we sort this way, so this one had, 117% gain over the last 5 years, still really good, but it was 408 trades. And maybe you don't want to trade that much. So maybe you don't trade the MACD on this security here because you don't want to have to take that many trades or look at the market that often. So there's a lot of different information that you can pull from this. But one thing to kind of get back on the path that we were on before is, so I could look at it like this, right? So I sorted it by percent gained again, and now I could take the top however many I want. I'm just shift clicking to grab a bunch, and I can, copy these to my clipboard, and then maybe I want to go in and create like a custom quote center. So I come in here and I can save them in a list in here. And now I'm always gonna like pull these up every day to check them or just save them as any sort of custom list. Let's actually go ahead and let's even just create a normal custom list, online instruments, list name. We'll do Bobby's webinar. Oops. And just add them into here. I might have messed that up just a little bit. So I can, I put in more than I think I intended to, but I can then go in and save them as a list. And then I can keep that list. Maybe I can do this a little better here. Okay, I won't fuss with this too much, but so you can save them as a list how you want and either paste them into a custom list, or I normally put them in a quote center and then look at them every day. And then you can take that list of your results and you can run explorations on them daily saying, hey, these were, maybe I should have selected a lot less actually. You only want the top 10. So you take the top 10 performing on the MACD, save those into your custom list, and then run an exploration on them each day to see when those ones generate a buy signal, because maybe you only want to trade them. So that's one way of kind of shrinking your list down in order to be able to do that using a system tester. So that's a method that I really like to utilize as well. And then the reverse is something that I mentioned earlier too. So not only can you use it to help you find the best securities to trade with a certain trading system, but we can switch that. Maybe you have the list of securities that you know you want to trade, which is like, say, the Amex. We could do this in reverse, and you want to test all the system tests to see which system tests perform the best on those Amex. Or maybe you generated a list somehow of 10 that you then want to. Let's go ahead and open my list back up here, actually. Or maybe you take some, and you want to, take 10 securities or whatever it may be, and then put them into the system tester and run all of our system tests against them to see which ones perform best there, or which ones perform best together, or things of that way, of that nature. Again, there's a lot of ways to utilize the software. to meet your different trading styles. So you can do all of that. And I think I pulled, yeah, a bunch of these wrong instruments earlier. Other things that we can do though that I wanted to show you inside of the system tester, sorry, that's why I'm coming back into here. So again, when I'm looking at this in here and I can see the performance, I actually just selected a very poor one. So let's actually close that one down. Let's open up a good one again, because I wanted to show you guys another of my favorite features in the system test. So we're looking at the net profitable. Let's choose one that's just, you know, kind of down here on the scale. Instead of like a very top performer, I like to choose them a couple down. Let's open that up. It's actually opening on my other screen. All right, so you can also go into, this is an equity curve. I might have very briefly showed this, but this is showing all of the records of data, which you can see on the left, so the 1250, but then it'll go in and say like when you bought and when you sold and how much that was, and then what, you know, what your current account size is at now, and because you're willing to risk 50% of that or whatever it may be, it does a variation with all that. So this trading system shows that, you know, it was actually really successful over the last 5 years, but now by looking at this equity curve, I can see, well, hey, actually, this really didn't do anything for several years. And then just in the last couple of years here, it started to perform really well. So depending on who you are, maybe you don't want to trade this because for a long time it was so sideways. Or, you know, actually the fact that this has been so consistent over these last, you know, 400 records or so here, about, yeah, the last 2 years or so, and it's been going up and up and up. I like to see this upward climb. I might actually look to take, you know, some trades on this security utilizing the MACD. So that's some really good information right there. Just to give another example of what it might look like, let's pull up a different one. I want to show kind of like a poor example. Let's look at this one and look at its equity curve. Okay, this one, it was a little bit more choppy here, and then it actually performed pretty well also, but I mean, I don't know, in the last 6 months or a year or so here, you know, this has actually not been performing super well, or maybe it's, you know, this security hasn't been trending well. Normally I like to see my equity over time consistently going up, and it looks like, yeah, in the last year or so, this has not been going up. So that's something to consider, and something that's really easy to see by just going into the equity thing here. You can also get more information on the system test by going into the system here and like seeing what were all the variables used, what were the formulas utilized for this. I can see my buy orders. Okay, order type, I was ordering at the market, good until canceled, and entry size, I was using the default size. You can get way more information on everything in here as well by looking at your systems. You can look at the different positions and position efficiency in here. You can see all of the orders that you've taken in here. And again, that summary page that I've showed you guys a couple of times, we have right here as well. So that kind of covers the system tester and a couple of different ways that you guys could utilize it. But yeah, we're just using the MACD there. So maybe after doing all those scans, I've now saved a list. And I can use that. Another interesting thing that you'll see too with these when you've worked with one or the other, like earlier when we ran our second exploration that gave a list of 193 results that had either like a buy or a sell or whatever it might have been with the MACD. Now that I'm clicked into the system tester here, for my records of data, it does actually give me an option to just use the last exploration results. So the 193 that showed up in that exploration that we ran previously, we can also use it in here if we wanted to like further limit this list down. We could do that as well, but I can actually show you guys the most recent report just to kind of confirm that, because I know, oops, I'm going back in time here a little bit. So it was this scan that we ran, and that's showing up on my other screen. Oops. But it was this scan we ran, and it today that had the 193 results, which we can see right here. So that's what I'm referring to by the last exploration results that are down there. And then also yeah, just saving the list. We can like save the list out of here too. I was doing it in a different way earlier, but it's as easy as clicking like save list and then creating a new list in here and hitting OK. And now I've created that list with these here, and we can do that with the system tester in similar ways as well. So just to show you guys all of those things. All right. Now with that all said, I've covered some of the main things about the MACD and how you can utilize it with like scanning and system testing to find what it works best with or what we can use it on to trade today or this week or etc. So all of those are things that are going to save you guys a bunch of time. So on your charts, you can just get buy and sell signals that show up on the chart itself with the expert advisor, and the expert commentary on them is going to tell you exactly how to trade it, how to utilize it. So it makes it so much more intuitive and easier to use than just having the actual like MACD histogram on your chart. Yeah, you can scan for those. You can do system tests. Now you'll notice there's a bunch of power tools that we haven't even used. Like the forecaster has a lot of really unique and interesting information in here as well, where you can get like a heat map of where the price is most likely to go based off of historical data or historical like MACD buy or sell signals or things like that. But for today's demonstration purposes, I don't want to go into all of that because then I think it might be some information overload. We also have like the quote center and option scope. If I have enough time, I'm going to show you guys some of the new features in those a little bit later today. But like I kind of said earlier, I do want to do more than just kind of like my basic power tool demonstration, which is kind of what we just touched on. So let's go ahead and dive back into the PowerPoint for just a little bit. And what I want to do next is share with you guys one of the actually our newest trading system that we put into MetaStock, and it's called the Power Bundle 360. Myself and Jeff Gibby, we were working with Daniel Sidnig for quite a while to get this system into MetaStock, and it's been a huge hit. I wish we would have met with Daniel and his team sooner to get this into MetaStock because it's gotten so much great feedback, and it has a lot of really unique features in it that it would have been nice to have a bit sooner. Sorry, I've had too much coffee today. But yeah, so who is Daniel Sidnig? Maybe you're asking. So he works with trading indicators. I mean, and he has his doctorate, he has his PhD. He has built over 500 different trading indicators and automated strategies. So he has some serious experience and knowledge with all of this. And we created what we thought to be the best package of them in what is now called the Power Bundle 360. And so just to learn some more about Daniel Sidnig, for more than 50 world-renowned trading educators utilize his systems. He's used by investors, traders, trading educators, money managers, and institutions like brokerage firms. He's helped clients from all over the world to become more successful traders. And with him, we've been able to put together this system, and it's primarily made of 3 different indicators. We've added even more into the system since its initial release, but the first one that we're going to briefly kind of talk about today is the 1, 2, 3 strike. And now this is an intelligent indicator that utilizes 3 different metrics to confirm trend strength so that you can plan your trades with greater confidence. It also has the divergence cloud in it, which will help you predict pullbacks and trend reversals. It uses a really unique form of volatility divergence and has a really high probability of success. It also comes with a volatility crusher. And this indicator, it can detect spikes in volatility and momentum so that you can find strong breakouts. Now, if we take all those different things just to tell you a little bit about these different indicators, and then I'm going to show you guys them in MetaStock and what they look like and kind of what some of the unique things they'll do on the expert advisor and the explorer, et cetera, as well as our system tester. But just so you know, all of these strategies can provide you with clear entry and exit signals. So just like with the MACD, you can have, you know, your buys and sells just telling you where they are instead of having to do a bunch of the analysis yourself. You get that with all of these on the Power Bundle 360. It's also eliminated a lot of the clutter. There's so much going on in the background. Like I said before, the MACD is a very simple indicator, and you could actually see most of it on just the MACD histogram. But with this, there's tons of indicators and tons of different points of information going in to create these, but it's given to you in a very smooth and visually appearing format so that it's easier to use and it's not going to overwhelm you. Also, the 360, all these indicators, they work on all time frames and all asset classes. So you can trade them with stocks, futures, forex, indices, whatever it may be. You can use tick charts, hourly charts, minute, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it may be. You can also get real-time statistics getting updated throughout the day with our expert advisor on these as well, if you're wanting to get updated information. So yeah, let's go ahead and check some of that out. Oh, not there. Let's go into MetaStock. So back into here, what I want to show you guys is just what these all look like really quickly. And I haven't pre-selected anything to pull this up. I'm actually just gonna open up Ford here because I used that example earlier. That's what we had open. I'm gonna start with a clean chart. All right, so this is a chart of Ford. You've already seen what you can do with like some of our other expert advisors and templates. And now what I'm gonna do is just put together the power bundle. Let's start at the top. We're going to use the 1, 2, 3 strike system at first, and I'll go ahead and apply that to our chart. All right, so what this is done, and now you can see on here, I have long entries and short entries. These are a little different than just buys and sells, just so you guys know, because you also can have additional information that comes in later on. So we pulled those up on our charts. We can see currently it's been like shorted here and you had a long here, and you can get out. These are like a long partial exit right here. So if you would have bought here, you would have exited partially here and then looked for another partial exit, or you probably would have been stopped out before this short entry. You would have been stopped out here. So you would have got profits here and stopped out here. This is just to give a quick example of it because I know I am a little constrained for time today. But one thing I wanted to do was show you the commentary with this. And so I'll have to pull up some different signals later, just to show a little more variation. But I thought this could be just a good one to start with. So what I've done is I've opened up the commentary, and you can see, actually that's convenient. Oh, it's just a short partial exit today. I thought it was a buy or sell signal. So by turning this on, one of the first things that you'll see that I'm getting in this commentary, we didn't see it before, but this is just like a unique way of having an expert advisor work, is Daniel was able to create what he calls the instant efficiency statistics. So what this does is it tells you, okay, if you have the power bundle 360, 1, 2, 3 strike on Ford, which is what we're on right now, as you can see here, F is the symbol for it. This trades, if you're trading in this system long, it's has 86.336% long efficiency. So it wins 86% of the long trades. And then on the short efficiency, and this is pretty normal for shorts to have a lower efficiency, but that's not to say that you can't find securities that have, you know, a much higher short efficiency, but the short efficiency is about 63%. Either way, those are actually both really good because as we've seen before though, you know, you can also have, sometimes you lose more trades than you win, but you're still winning more money. That's something that's not shown in the instant efficiency statistic just because this is updating depending on whatever you put on your chart and everything of that nature. So just something to keep in mind. But it's still a really good like basic starting point to know, because not only do do the power bundle systems have really good efficiency and really good trade ratios where they win more trades than they lose in most cases, but also the winners are higher, much higher than the losers in most cases as well. And there are some unique optimization options that come with power bundle as well that I kind of touched on, that some of our systems have that, and this is one of them. So that's another reason that I really like it. And you can see from the commentary right here that it does say that price bars are currently colored red because price is in a downtrend. And also you can see that currently it is in a short signal, but right here we have a short partial exit that was triggered. which it states right here. And this one says with this short partial exit, it recommends taking 1/4 of the outstanding short position should be closed. So this says to close out 1/4 of your position if you want with this. There are actually methods of kind of changing this around. If you don't like doing as many partial exits, you can change the parameters of all the power bundle indicators so that they can meet your trading style a little bit better and match up with your market a little bit better if it trades a certain way. There's also ways to optimize these systems so that they perform even better with the securities you want to trade them on. You can optimize it for it. But this is just using default settings as it comes out of the box for all securities. And you can already see on this one, that performs really well. Let's also take a look at the next one. So that was on the 1, 2, 3 strike. Let's look at the divergence cloud system with Power Bundle, because this one's pretty unique as well. So with this one, you can see the system is showing a little bit differently here. It's added an additional trend ribbon that you can utilize down below. And you also still get like short entries and long entries. And this one has also the long partial exits and short partial exits. But you can see like these trades that it generated here were really good. And you can see when it started to go up, it started to close you out of some of these positions here. And so just even on this, I can see some pretty good trades, but I did not look at these charts earlier. This is just to look at forward. So some really good examples of some good trades here so far, but instead of even having to look at the whole chart to see how it all matched up, let's actually just turn on the commentary for it. So we have the divergence cloud. We can see with the divergence cloud system on forward, it actually has 87.5% long efficiency and 80% short efficiency. So if you're planning to short forward for whatever reason, you know, you can see the efficiency for shorting on this one is extremely high as well. And it also is letting me know the price bars and trend ribbon are currently colored pink because price is within a bearish divergence cloud. So we're currently in this bearish divergence cloud that also shows up on this trend ribbon. And also I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you guys with this too, but like I said, I wanted to combine a few different things and just show you like some variations in what you can see. If you're kind of interested by this, I recommend you go watch one of the videos we have on our YouTube by Daniel Sidnig himself, because he goes into this in far more in depth and explains more behind them. But I just wanted you to see some of the things you can see here with this system, especially just because I've been using it myself lately and how it can work differently. So again, we have really good long efficiency and short efficiency with forward on this one. And you get the same long entries and short entries, and this one provides you with partial exits instead of just exits, and you get colors on your screen that can also help you a lot with the trading. And now let's go ahead and apply the last template just to give you a quick look at that one, the volatility crusher. And I'm going to apply that. Need to save this. So this one's a little unique as well. This one gives you entries, and then it'll automatically like generate some targets and things for you once you get those, and lets you know when you hit those targets. So we can see here, like if we got into a trade, this was target 1, that was target 2, where we could have taken profits at both these points and closed out after the target 2, and then we do it again here, which those are really good because then after that it kind of went sideways. And things of that nature. So that's how this one works. And again, there's other ways of combining these strategies too and of optimizing them to make them even better. And if certain things don't match up, like you also wouldn't take a trade. So just because you see a short entry like this one doesn't mean that you would have taken this trade if you go in and consider some of the other variables. But just to give you an example here of what this ends up looking like, you can see the short efficiency and long efficiency with this one. It's also saying, hey, your position is currently flat, but let's look at, say, this here, what the commentary tells me when I get a long signal. Sorry, that's on the next day, it looks like, actually. And the reason you're seeing the long and short efficiency trading is because when I click here on the map, it's not taking whatever happened in the future from this into consideration for these efficiencies. So just something to keep in mind. But what I really like about this trading strategy is it says, hey, you just entered into a long position. And the day that we got into this long position, it's saying, hey, this is your entry price. So you want to get in at this price. and then your first target's going to be here and your second target's going to be here. When it actually ended up hitting that one here, we would have taken some profits. It also tells us from the very start when our stop loss is, so that we can have that stop loss in place and be kind of safe in our trade. And so what would have happened here is we would have taken out half of the position at this target 1. We didn't hit our target 2, and if we didn't have our own sort of system for getting out of this sooner, if like maybe, you know, if you're sideways for this long, you might have closed it earlier, but worst case scenario, it's going to stop you out here and you're already out of half your position. So this is still a winning trade. And again, this is just a random example of Ford. I'm not, you can do your system tests to find out which performed the absolute best, or this one kind of makes it really easy too, saying, hey, 88% of the time you get a signal with the volatility crusher, 88.89% of the time, it's going to trade in your direction afterwards, or you're going to hit your targets and make some money. So that is extremely good, especially just for like a random symbol that I've pulled up for this. So, and the short efficiency is 100% on this one from this point right here. And, you know, don't be like, oh, wow, how is that possible? No system's 100% correct. Well, just keep in mind, this is only utilizing about 5 years of data. And it's totally plausible that the market could have gone negative after every short that this system generated in the last, you know, 5 years. And that's what's happened. That's why you're seeing that. I've kind of clicked off the map here, but I wanted you guys to see some of the different things that can be included in an expert advisor with a different trading strategy. And now I also kind of want to show you guys what some of the info you can get from the Explorer as well. For time purposes, because I'm going to be testing a few more systems, I do want to run it on a slightly smaller list. Let's go ahead and change to, instead of doing the 800 securities, let's mix it up and go on. I'm going to do an exploration, a scan on the S&P 100, and I want to utilize, I want to see the power bundle 1, 2, 3 strike, divergence cloud signals. You can also see the divergence cloud type that you're in. So if you just want to know if you're bullish or bearish based on divergence cloud, and so have a faster scan with just that information, that's what that one's for. And then the power bundle 360 volatility crusher here as well. We're going to do the 1250 records, S&P 100. Let's go ahead and start that exploration. Something new that you'll see here, now that I'm running multiple explorations at a time, it lists all 3 of them, and you can see the 1, 2, 3 strike is almost already done. Now that it's done, I can actually go into that one already. It's funny, actually, because, here, let's make this a little bit bigger, because I'm only testing the S&P 100, and this is looking for certain types of trades, I actually only got 1 result from all of those. But that's actually good. That saved me from looking at 100 charts with 3 different templates. So really 300 charts to let me know that, hey, only McDonald's has the divergence cloud signal on a short right now. And let's actually go ahead and see what that looks like. And no, here, I'll even do this a little differently. We'll do just the expert advisor here for the power bundle. Which one was this? Divergence cloud. Okay, so if I open up the expert advisor for the divergence cloud on McDonald's, you'll see, hey, this is that short entry that it just gave us. And there's some other information in here too. So it's saying long signal, short signal. If there's a 1 in the column, that means it's true, or yes, basically. If there's a 0, then it's not. So we don't have a long signal because we have a short signal. That's why this one generated. The rest were rejected because they didn't produce either a long or a short. Now, what I can actually see immediately from this exploration is this is the long immediate efficiency, and this is the short efficiency rating. So I can see 73% of the long trades are wins on McDonald's using the divergence cloud signals, and 50% are proper using a short. So because I have a short signal today on McDonald's with this data. You know, probably not something I would take personally. I don't really short very often as it is, and the fact that it only has a 50% efficiency rating. See, and now I've opened up that commentary to show it to you here as well. So this actually saved me from even having to open up the chart and the commentary because it put this data right into the exploration. So that 50% short efficiency rating, instant efficiency statistics, that's what it stands for there. So that's what we were seeing inside of the exploration. I'm going to actually go ahead and open that back up. That's what you see there. So I do kind of, I still want to show you guys, the information that comes from those. Let me open MetaStock back up one more time. So when I was running that scan for all three, I was using the selected instruments for all explorations. Say you wanted to combine several explorations, and first you want to search for some sort of bearish indicator or bullish indicator, let's say. So something's positive, you select that one, and then it gives you a list of 100 results off the 1,000 you scanned. And now you maybe want to take whatever had a bullish indicator and have your second exploration only run against those 100. You can do that over here by use the results from the preceding exploration if you have that selected instead. But what I'm actually doing over here is I'm just going to turn off this filter because I had it filtering them, meaning so the filter, if it didn't meet the buy or sell criteria, it was filtering it out and rejecting it. So I'm actually going to start this exploration without the filter just because I want to show you what it looks like with the additional data. I think you can do it this way. Yeah, so doing it this way, you know, it's not rejecting any of them because I told it, hey, don't reject them based on the filter criteria of a buy or sell signal because I'm actually not interested specifically right now in the buy or sell signals. I just want to get the data that this exploration provides. So now what I'm looking at in this 1, 2, 3 strike, okay, so the 3M company, it doesn't have a long or a short. That's why it didn't show up earlier because that's what this filter's for. But I can still see here, hey, this is the long efficiency statistic and the short efficiency statistic based off, again, with my exploration, I did 1,250 records. So if you go and, you know, if you try out this trading system and you go run this scan today, but you use 5,000 records, and then you're like, hey, why is my efficiency rating showing differently than yours? Well, because it's telling you the efficiency rating off of 5,000 records of data versus 1,250. So just a big thing to always keep in mind is how much data you're working with in here, because that changes statistics significantly. And you can use that to your advantage in certain methods. Maybe you only care about short-term data, or maybe you care about data going back, you know, to the 80s or something. However you want to operate, MetaStock kind of provides you the tools to work with it that way. This also gives you the volume in the scan too, and the current price. Because maybe, you know, you're not interested in trading securities that cost over $200 per security, or maybe you only want to trade something that's volume is, you know, above 1 million or something of that nature. You can filter by these. This is the S&P 100 here. So a lot of these have a higher price and a lot of volume on them, etc. But another thing you can do is you can sort by the efficiency rating in here. So maybe you want to say, without having to run a whole system test and getting the extreme amounts of data that come in the system test that I've shown you earlier, you only want to see this efficiency rating. Well, you could run just this exploration, which will probably be a little bit faster than pulling all the information that comes in the system tester. And now I can say, hey, target has a 90% efficiency rating utilizing the 1, 2, 3 strike method over the last 5 years. So now maybe you want to put target in a list, or you want to open it up in a chart and save it and work on it from there, etc. You can also sort by the short, etc. If there's certain things you want to do in here and you're like, hey, okay, I only want to work with these top several, you could come here and I guess shift control, oops, I pressed too many buttons at once, but you can take ones that you don't want and you can delete them out of this list on here too. before then like saving them into a clipboard list over here or something of that nature. So that's an option. So I'm starting to slouch here. Let me sit back up for you guys. So yeah, really cool there. And now there's some more I want to show you on this. I'm going to get wrapped up here really soon. But just to kind of show you a little bit more, maybe you don't like the efficiency statistics that you're getting, maybe for whatever reason, you find that you like to work with some different periods of data on the trading systems. You can go into the indicator builder here, and you can go into, let's find, where is it? Power bundle. So I can go into here and open up this indicator builder. So this indicator is called the 1, 2, 3 strike settings, divergence cloud settings, volatility pressure settings. So I can open this up, and this tells me the formula that's utilized for the 1, 2, 3 strike right here. It says, hey, the default is 34. Keep in mind, anything in these brackets is just information for you that's not actually part of the formula. And also, just so you know too, the Power Bundle does come with a complete training boot camp from Daniel Sinnig, as well as manual. So he can explain all this to you. But I just wanted you to know you can come in here and adjust these settings. Say the volume period that you're utilizing or the volatility period, like the default is 7. And the reason we have it like this is because say you wanted to go in here and change this to 9 to see how that affects your efficiency rating or something of that nature. And then it wasn't what you wanted, or you just want to put it back to how it was initially, it always is going to tell you what the default was initially right here. If for some reason you accidentally remove those, you can just re-download the add-on, which would take 1 minute probably, and then have them reset. But there's options to come in here and change these so that you can alter it to better match your market if you're trading a specialized market or something of that nature. And to touch on this even farther, if you don't know what settings you want to use on those, because that's going to affect your templates, the indicators, the explorations and everything, etc., you can actually come into our system tester, and I'm going to type in Power Bundle here. Oh, actually, maybe we have it under a different name. Maybe I spelt it wrong. So Power Bundle. So this 1, 2, 3 strike right here, it says test with manually set parameters. So I can come into it and I can see what all the parameters are for the buys and sells. Well, I can't see the actual formulas because this is a unique system created by Sinnig, but you can, this uses the defaults. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But I could run this optimizer, and then what the optimizer will do is I can see an optimizations here. So for options 1 through 8, the volume period, volatility period, exit on high, long partial exits, etc. So you can set these to whatever you want. So you can say, hey, I want it to search for the volume period between 30 and 60, and this is using steps of 30, but you can edit this and say, I want to do steps of 5. So if I did that, it's going to run the system test and check all the variables between 30, I'm pointing at my screen, between 30 and 60 in 5-step intervals. So 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and 60. Because these are how many parameters that it's utilizing with the data. But I can choose the ones that I want on these. My long partial exits, like those partial exits you saw before, maybe you don't want to take 4 partial exits. You can change the maximum to 2, or just get rid of them altogether. So you only have one exit and then you get out entirely. You can see how those will show up on your system test though. It'll provide you with all that information. And earlier, if you guys remember too, you can select to just show like the 5 best optimized results. Because if you look down here at the bottom, it says utilizing these 8 different options and the periods that are set here, the minimum and the maximum and the steps, and whether it's considering these. This is taking one system test. Normally, the Power Bundle 360 1, 2, 3 strike runs 1 test, would be the total here, because it's using the set default variables. But now with the changes I've made are just the ones that are showing up in here. This is actually a total of 576 tests now, and it runs all of those, and I can have it display, say, the top 10. And then it's going to give me the results. Hey, if I traded this on Ford, what should my slow period value be? What should my fast period value be? What trading style, 1, 2, etc. There's different things here, and you can get information on them and what they mean by clicking over here into general. And again, there is a very in-depth boot camp and training and a manual that comes with this add-on. I just wanted to show you guys, okay, yeah, we have a MACD histogram and it works with the tools in MetaStock, but also we have these extremely unique and powerful trading strategies that you aren't going to find the options to do everything that you can do with them anywhere else except for inside of MetaStock. And this is an example of that. So if you want to get far more in depth, if you want to optimize a system to be the best that it can be on whatever securities you want to trade, you can do that with this Power Bundle 360 and with many other systems that are in MetaStock too. And then once you've ran that, you can take the results from that optimized test and you plug them into that indicator builder. It'll tell you, okay, put this for option 1, this for option 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. And now you have a completely optimized system for whatever it is you want to trade. Or out of the box, you've already seen from those efficiency ratings just how successful this trading strategy is. And I'm not actually going to spend the time to run that optimization because that can obviously take quite a bit of time, especially if you take what would be one system test, turn it into 560 tests, and then select 1,000 different securities to run it on. That's going to be very time intensive, but normally you should only ever have to do that once if it's something you wanted to do. I just want you to know that that option is there for you guys to make these strategies even better. So that's a really unique and interesting way of updating the system to make it even better, but the defaults already perform amazingly. And I know I didn't go into a lot of the details of how exactly Power Bundle 360 works with all these different indicators, but I just wanted to show you that they are effective. They give you a lot of useful information as well. So with that being said, I'm going to jump back into my presentation here. And I was actually planning to go over some more in MetaStock 18.2 and some of our new features, but I'm just gonna list the highlights for you guys real quick so I can let you get on with your days. And now I know that I'll have to condense this a little bit better for next time. But also, for all of you that have MetaStock currently, but maybe you don't have our latest version, we are on MetaStock 18. We actually very recently released an update for it, 18.2, with even more features, and that's included for free if you have 18 already, or it's included if you upgrade to 18. But we just released a bunch of really cool new features, but there's a whole new charting style. You might have seen it. I've talked about some of the things throughout the day, but there's tons of new capabilities, like over 15 different types of charting styles that you can use now, and 16 different themes. You can come in and change the themes however you may like. One of the new 18.2 features is not only can you change the themes, but you can change whether the themes will automatically adjust themselves or not, if some of the existing colors might interfere with one another. So that's really cool. I was showing you guys some of the new scroll features too that you can utilize. This blue bar down here, you can just click on it anywhere and it changes the amount of data that you're looking at, and it's easy to scroll through or click through now. We've done some significant enhancements to our drawing tools and the chart usability. I actually even just want to show you something real quick because it's, I think, so cool. So if I just come here and do like a trend line, and I put a trend line on my chart, let's just say from there to there, click. So before, you would just have that line, but now I can like hover over this line and it's telling me, hey, this is from 1019 to 927. It tells me the value of this. It's telling me the percent change from here to here is 7.86. It also says the 7.86 right there on the trend line itself, but I can come in here, change the color of this, change the parameters on this. I can add additional arrows onto it to point at things. I can write custom labels. So I changed this to test. Maybe you like to take images of your charts and you want certain things written on there. It's easier to access the text and things of that nature. I can put the performance on there. So that's a difference of 18.2 points, or the performance percent. Tons of new things with drawing tools. That's just one example of what we added in here with version 18. Let's go ahead and Alt-Tab back into here. So Here's a big list of all the different types of charting styles and customizations. You can also do a lot of unique things with all of these different charting styles, and we added a lot of new features. 18.2 brought back the Renko and Kagi and point and figure and the 3-line break. We had to make several adjustments to those to make them work with our new charting engine. So they came on a little later with the 18.2, but now they get to utilize all the great new features that came with 18. So if you're like to use those, I highly recommend checking them out. The scroll preview, we went through that. Not only do we have like the really unique trend line, but most of the tools now you can snap to price or period. So instead of just being a random line drawn on there, you can choose whether it's attaching to your price point or to a date. You can save all sorts of defaults to create new defaults, like with Fibonacci's and others, and change the lines and colors. You can also change the like transparency or opacity that shows up. You can kind of see that in this here, how you can see through this indicator. So that's a really unique thing. That's using the odds probability cone right there. We've also added several updates to the X and Y axis inside of MetaStock, and there's new ways of like editing those and manipulating them. Just to come in here really quick, like I'll double click down here into the X axis and I can change. So I can easily type in, hey, I have the data request range and the displayed. So the displayed is what's on my screen right here, but the request range is what's actually loaded into the chart that I could then scroll through. You can easily change that right here. You can also go in and you can add grid lines or grid bands on both the X-axis and the Y-axis. So that's pretty cool too. Oops, let's pop back into here. The Power Console has a lot of updates. We made the searching more intuitive and more just a lot easier to use. There were some search functions before, but now it just works a lot better if you want to type into the search either by name or symbol or something of that nature. We also, I was hoping to show this today, but we made a lot of really unique updates to Quote Center where you get like a gainers and a losers bar. So you can see like overall, hey, on this custom list that I have or this list of whatever it may be, this many are up today, this many is down. It's another really nice way to kind of see the trend of the overall market. You can, and the Quote Center has some themes that you can utilize, and it now shares those themes with our option scope. And option scope, my favorite part is we added in option strategies. So you can go in and do like a long call and put in and select like the options for that long call from your list inside of option scope. And then it's going to give you a price graph saying, okay, hey, if you bought right here, like this is where the price has to move before you become profitable. And if the price moves to this amount, this is how profitable you are or how much you would lose. And you can do that with more in-depth strategies too, like a long straddle or married put or a bear call spread, things like that. So very cool new features for option scope. Speaking of systems that perform well, we also took our best-selling add-on of all time. It was called Performance Systems Plus. It's old, it's been around for a really long time now, but it includes 54 additional new performance systems that are on top of like the 30 that we already have built into MetaStock. And we sold thousands or tens and tens of thousands of copies of this. And now it's just included for free. And it used to be, I believe, $400, if I'm saying that correctly. I hope so. If not, it was 300, one of those. But we've included that for free. So you can utilize all these additional trading strategies that used to be part of like an expensive add-on, and they're included for free in version 18. So I definitely wanted to make sure you guys knew that. This kind of talks about how those systems were selected for it. So you can come back or pause your video, something of that nature, if you want to check out some of these additional slides. But overall, you're looking at a whole new charting engine, updates in the Power Console, updates to Option Scope in the Quote Center, tons of quality of life and new ease of use features, new system tests and strategies, even updates to being able to just log into MetaStock that makes it even easier now. And if you're wondering, hey, how much does this cost? I want to try MetaStock out. Well, you can get MetaStock starting at just $69 a month for our daily charts version that includes data as well as the MetaStock charting software itself for one region. That would be for the Americas. It's $59 for some of our other regions. Or if you already own MetaStock, say 17, and you want to upgrade to 18 DC, that's just $169 as a one-time cost. Keep in mind, just the performance systems add-on that we added in normally cost, I believe, $400, and we would go on sale occasionally once a year for $300. But that alone is the value there. But you also saw the really unique charts and everything in there too, and all those new features. Totally worth that price. If you have an older version than 17, it's just $269 to upgrade. With MetaStock real time, so this is going to give you the global market data. It also gives you Zenith, which we haven't even touched on today, but that is like real-time market data and news that you get at over $1 billion. Literally over $1 billion went into the creation of Zenith, or the Icon platform that it's a retail version of or based on. And you can get access to that along with our MetaStock real time if you're leasing them and everything for $265 a month. Or if you own real time already, you can upgrade starting at just $269, $369 if you have a much older version of MetaStock. With today's presentation, we are doing a 3-month trial offer. So you can get 3 months for the price of one if you want to try out MetaStock, either the real time or the DC version. You can visit metastock.com/sales chat. We have guys available right now in chat that would gladly talk to you about anything I've covered today that can help you out with that. Also today, we talked about the Power Bundle 360. So I showcased that for you guys so you can see one of our more unique trading strategies that has a lot of really cool features. It utilizes many of the MetaStock power tools, including letting you do the optimizations, but you saw even this default out of the box, how successful that system is and how high of a win rate that it has. If you were interested in that, and again, it works on all markets with all time frames as well. I was able to get a webinar special that Cynic offered once before with an amazing rate. So you get the 1-2-3 strike system that you saw valued at about $400, the Divergence Cloud normally about $450, Volatility Crusher normally about $400. These are actually the on sale prices because they normally cost more than that. You can get the full boot camp training, also masterclass videos with 5 hours of technical trading education. And if you order from this special, the metastock.com/PB360, or talk to our guys in sales chat, metastock.com/sales chat, we'll give you the trend radar for free as well, and access to community and weekly tech talks. The total value for all of that is normally well over $2,000. And with today's webinar special, we'll do that for over 50% off. It would just be a one-time $997. If you have other questions about it, join our chat room or go to that link, metastock.com/PB360, and we'd be happy to show you a little bit more on it or answer any of your questions. If you have questions in chat that you want to ask, I'm also happy to answer those for you guys as well. But we'll give you 50% off that add-on. It's a one-time purchase, and then you own it for life. It'll work on MetaStock DC or real time. And you can try that out too. Or of course, those upgrades, if you're interested in an upgrade, get in touch with us. We can help you out with that too. I know we covered a lot of information today, but I wanted to thank you guys again for joining us and for dealing with our technical issues early on. And if you have any questions about anything that we covered today, or you want some more information, reach out to us. We're available right now. On your screen, I've listed our phone number for the US and Canada, or as well as if you're international. I also put my email on here, bobby.hiller@metastock.com. Please feel free to send me an email with any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that. Or if you want to, talk to our team about anything you've seen today or anything regarding MetaStock, just metastock.com/sales chat. If it's after hours, you can leave a message there as well. But we've got guys here Monday through Friday ready to help you out. Well, thanks again, everyone. I think that clears things up, and I hope you all have a great rest of your night. Also, just so you know, we're doing another webinar later today with Steve Bigelow and Jeff Gibby. That's going to be on at about 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And you can catch that on our YouTube, youtube.com/MetaStock, where you can register for it on our events page on MetaStock. Just navigate into the events. and find the webinars in there. You should check that out as well. Also, if you get a chance to like and subscribe on YouTube, that really helps us out a lot and we appreciate it. But I think that's going to be everything for today, and I hope you all have a great rest of your night. Thanks.